We are Indie Attack once again, and today we have Grim Express.
Grim Express.
This is a murder mystery on a Russian train.
Yeah, there you go.
That's pretty much the setup. You are playing as a detective or an investigator or some kind of... I'm a little unclear on what exactly your title here is. You are sitting on a train, the man across from you is murdered.
Yeah, so you're probably seeing on the screen right now. It starts instantly, a death occurs,
Yes.
and the game starts from there.
And from that point, you have to venture around 3 train cars to interview people on the train.
Full of me's. Wii U
Yes.
people are populating the train.
You adventure on that car, you talk to them to figure out what their alibis were for where they were. Some of them might give you clues that you can then use to go investigate other people sitting on the train. And there are kind of 3 primary suspects that are really fleshed out, and once you think you know the full story, you have to go and talk to a sort of military officer of some type who will make the final arrest and send somebody to the Siberian Gulag.
Right. So essentially
It's a 15-minute point-and-click adventure game.
Okay, so yes, that is very much what it is. Yeah, and it's interesting because we also reviewed Mimicry Man this week, and I thought there were similarities in the sense of, like, you're basically just, like, going through these routines to get to blank, to get to blank, to get to the next person to say blank.
There's definitely a bit of a routine to that, because you'll talk to a person, and you'll get all the responses from them.
Yeah.
And then they will reveal a new response you can ask somebody else, because how the game works is that you will ask somebody a question, and they will give you an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And in that answer, if there is a highlighted phrase, that is then a phrase you can ask other people. So there's kind of a frustrating amount of, you talk to character A, and he will eventually reveal information that you need to take to character B. You talk to character B, who will eventually reveal information you take to character C, and then you talk to character C on that information, and they will reveal something that you have to take back to the first guy.
And another layer onto that is that there's, like, sort of physical
there's
clues,
physical clues that do the same thing.
And some of them will be like, oh, you don't understand this now, basically. So you have to, like, find the clue that lets you look at the thing, and then ask another clue. It's very, like you said, it's systematic.
It's an odd way to approach this, because it's not really like a branching conversation system or anything.
Right,
You need people to reveal information to you, and then you can act on the
keywords.
reveal.
You're looking for keywords, essentially.
I feel
and there's, like, 26...
There's 29.
29 basic, like, categories that you can then cycle it.
And the game, thankfully, does rate you on how much, like, information you found, so you can see if you're making a good decision or not.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, and it did say, to be fair, it says in the corner trial version for this, so it's like, it seems like this very much felt like a proof of concept game,
I feel like there needs to be another step in that process of questioning people and information gathering, because it's just a little too much running back and forth.
Or just and it's not that, I wouldn't say it was, like, poorly written necessarily, but it was just very, I
believe it was originally written in another language.
Agree, it seemed like that.
So it's translated, so it might not flow as well.
Oh yeah, and just, like, this guy, the dude's a Russian, like, circus knife thrower who's bad at throwing. Like, I liked that. Like, I liked elements of it. Like,
all of your 3 suspects are pretty equally fleshed out, and when you know the solution to this game,
definitely,
there is a lot of red herrings thrown in there. Sort of everybody has a possible motive once you figure it out.
Definitely.
You really gotta pay attention to who is doing what where and what might prevent them from doing certain things. So now we're getting to the point of this where I actually want to talk spoilers.
Yes.
And I want to talk game design spoilers.
Spoiler.
So we're going to spoil this game for the rest of it. You can keep watching it if you want to.
Spoilers.
But I think this is both going to be a recommendation from us because it's a pretty short game.
Yeah.
So check it out.
It's interesting.
Pause this video, go check it out for like 10-15 minutes, get the right answer, come back, whatever. And then we're going to keep talking.
We're cracking this egg open, baby.
So, okay.
Scramble.
Did you solve this game? Did you get the correct suspect?
I got every... initially, I chose... I said it was the knife thrower. That's who I picked originally.
That is who I picked originally as well.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yes. Great minds.
And the second time around, I picked the correct suspect, which is the quote-unquote mentally ill.
Yeah, /son. Yeah. Yes. Mentally ill patient /son /
Yeah.
And I thought it was a very clever, subtle thing.
Because I was going to mention that. I thought it really played on your stereotypes of who you might expect to be the culprit.
Totally, yeah.
Because I was kind of like, okay, it seems almost too obvious to make it like the crazy son or something.
Right.
And I was looking for ways to kind of blame the other 2 people. And then when I went back and played it the second time, after getting the wrong answer, it was kind of like, oh, wait. This guy doesn't have an alibi.
Right.
The other two both have excuses for being gone.
Totally.
And I feel like it was kind of a funny way of looking at it, because the way to solve this is to just look at the raw detective information you get.
Yeah.
That is, he's off his meds, so he's violent.
Exactly.
The other guys didn't have, like, a time or a place to go. Like, they were accounted for, they had alibis.
Totally.
And that's what solves it. Like, the motivations everybody has, because everybody wants the guy dead.
Right.
They all have motivations for him to be dead.
Yeah.
But only one of them could have actually done it, which is ultimately what matters.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's a good play on the detective story.
You know, you're right, and I felt like the parameters for what was fishy, like basically if you get the wrong answer, it was like, oh well, he's bad at throwing knives. You know, it's like it's character. What was cool was that it was character information was what actually affected people's ability to commit the crime.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I guess I was saying I was expecting this to be like most sort of mysteries and murder mysteries kind of a thing. It's where it's all about motivation.
right?
And it's
yeah.
not necessarily about, like, you know, there's always going to be evidence, but it's always sort of like you propel the guilty party to eventually confess to it, like an Ace Attorney type thing. Where,
Yeah, and there's that sort of reflexive thing where you just assume that someone's going to be that the people, you know, the couple that's cheating, like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, they're morally wrong or whatever. We have that sort of societal hang up that you just assume, like, one of those two people are you know, oh, they have money to gain, like, of course they're the bad ones, and it's like, no, a crazy person.
So what was the, like, piece of evidence that tipped you off to it?
For me, it was the pill bottle. It was
Yeah.
finding the actual pill bottle, and I
you're
was
like,
like,
oh, that's
yeah.
it.
And then I remember it's like you read the report, and that's a great red herring.
Because, yeah, what tipped me off to it
Yeah.
was when I was in the car with the knives, and they mentioned about the son, and it was kind of the report. The one lady mentions the son was in the car last night,
Yes. Right.
and then the knife thrower mentions that last night in the dining car he had an argument with the doctor. He left and he came back later to get one of his knives.
Right.
That's when the son read the report, and that's also when he stole one of the knives.
Totally.
Is that previous night, and has kept it since then. And it was like, I made that connection, and I felt really good, even though I got it wrong once at that point. But
Yes. No. Nonetheless. Yeah. Totally. And then, yeah, you were like, okay, the obvious sort of thing wasn't right, so let's reevaluate and actually, like, and I think so. That's what I think is the promising thing about this. Like, I think as a game, like, it could really be expanded on and should be, and there should be more layers, and there should be more things that are interactive specifically.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that the developers thought about it was
Yeah.
like they thought of interesting hooks and psychological ticks, you know, for people that, you know, it's not just it wasn't just super vanilla, you know, it was like it was interesting in that way.
so, I guess final thoughts for this on me.
Yes.
The murder mystery is very interesting. I think the characters are well fleshed out. I think it's got little translation kind of hiccups with that, but that's kind of to be understood with this sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And I really like all of that about it. The actual gameplay itself is a little, like, iffy of going, just walking around the train, clicking on everything, getting everybody to say everything. It's kind of a slow process.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like full branching dialogue trees would be better in that regard or something, and you can eventually get people to reveal information that way.
Maybe some sort of a premonition or some sort of a system where it's like you have a chance of, like, sussing things out, but there's like a risk to it where you can like get information that people won't reveal to you after a certain point if you fuck up or something. I don't know, just some sort of an interactive menu thing.
If you ask people about the wrong thing too many times, you're like, who is this guy and what does he want? Screw you, buddy.
Yeah, maybe you start out and there's 5 options and then you pick one and then one of the options is gone because you made that choice to pursue that line of questioning.
And then you can only get more options once you get another piece of evidence to find.
Yeah, you know.
More of that.
Exactly. There could have been more of that, and it could have just been more flashy too. Like it could have been like bling, you got new info or something. You know, just enough to make you feel like satisfied, as opposed to like there's just this list of like small font. Like,
and graphically, while this game is not terrible or like offensive,
they look
it
like
could
Mii's.
maybe it'll be a little bit better. It's like
Mii
maybe like
universe.
round out the models a little bit or something.
Yeah,
but nothing too bad.
Yeah, I mean that's their style they're going with. You know? I mean it could be better.
It seemed really dark on my computer too.
Yeah, well, no, it was intentionally. Yeah, when you go into the room with the wife and it's like just eerie green glow, it's just like what is this? You know, I thought it was gonna get sci-fi, but yeah.
Anyway, back to the initial point.
Final thoughts.
This is a recommendation from both of us.
Yeah, check it out. It's fucking cool.
Check it out, like I said, it's 15 minutes. If you've listened to the whole video at this point, we've already spoiled it.
Yeah, you got a sufficient spoiler warning though, and you know, you might be a masochist. I don't know, but
if you want to feel like going and checking it out, if you want more than this for some reason, it's there.
Yeah.